Roman Reigns' first WWE Raw match in 2 years has been confirmed. The final match has been set for Saturday night's main event, and a top WWE name was backstage at TNA Final Resolution. Stay tuned for all the wrestling news. It has been a long time since we've seen Roman Reigns wrestle on weekly TV, never mind even Raw.
He's too big a star.
He
needs PLE. He needs pay-per-view. He needs that big moment, doesn't he?
It feels so strange to think of a time where during the start of his reign, he was wrestling on weekly TV fairly regularly. He was defending that belt on SmackDowns, but it has been a while since he appeared on Raw.
Yeah, he's just been wrestling with our minds mainly, though, in 40-minute promos.
40-minute promos instead, of course. Well, Roman Reigns last night cut one promo. It wasn't 40 minutes, thankfully, but he did challenge Solo Sikoa to a tribal combat match on Raw's Netflix premiere on January 6th.
Which is probably just gonna, I imagine it's gonna be like a yearly thing, isn't it?
A tribal combat match?
No, I think a massive Netflix card.
I mean,
it's basically a pay-per-view.
It's certainly shaping up that way based on what the reports, and we'll have some more later on today on that, but it seems like they are trying to stack this card. We know certain names are going to be there. We know certain names they're wanting to have there. Yeah. And having Roman Reigns have a match on their first one in over 2 years, it certainly is a good way to sort of make an immediate impact on Netflix. But he laid out the challenge on last night's SmackDown. He vowed to take back the Ula Fala from Solo. I'm intrigued to see how they do this, because by stipulation, it means that no Bloodline members can get involved.
But we know that that's never, ever stuck before.
No, because
the referee will suddenly eat a cheese sandwich, get food poisoning, and fall over for 5 minutes, and they all run in.
Exactly.
It's just getting more and more ridiculous.
We saw this at SummerSlam 2023, Jimmy Uso getting involved during the tribal combat
I feel
match.
like you're going to have to put them all in a shark cage above the ring, but like a shark cage with such fine poles, they can't even slot anything
They can't get through. They can't get through at all. A glass box
or anything.
A glass box above the ring.
Oh, like David Blaine.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's how we should do it. I'm intrigued to see how they do this, though. It makes me think the fact that the Bloodline are banned, we're getting a new member just to even that odds, or have someone interfere that's not involved so that we can go, hey, that's the next feud for so-and-so.
Yeah.
Either way, Roman's first match back on Raw. Now, moving over to TNA, though. TNA hosted Final Resolution last night, and prior to the show, there was reports that Tessa Blanchard was set to return to the company. She did indeed make her return during the show last night after 4 years away from TNA. Sean Rossap of Fightful Select had reported prior to this return that there had been pushback from Jordan Grace, who'd reportedly planned to enter a feud with Blanchard in TNA ahead of Grace leaving to WWE once her contract expires. Now, she did attack Grace last night.
Yeah, she did. So during the show, she attacked her, cut a promo backstage afterwards saying that she was back to remind everyone whose name helped build TNA all the way back in 2002, and that she was back to take what was hers. Grace then similarly cut a promo backstage calling Blanchard ignorant, a complete idiot, and then continued by saying, Tessa, a lot has changed since you've been gone. You're going to realize very quickly that you've made a huge effing mistake.
Now, I understand Blanchard is a controversial figure, right?
Massively so.
Massively controversial. Left TNA on fairly bad terms.
Yep.
And TNA has gone through a massive rebuilding phase, especially over the past, year and a half.
It feels like a completely reinvigorated company since the tenure of Scott D'Amore really hit its stride.
For sure.
Yeah.
And this having Blanchard come back is an odd choice for me personally, especially when, you've got such a positive-minded locker room.
It's something that obviously and understandably sort of rustled a lot of feathers yesterday when the news dropped, because it was somebody that we maybe thought we'd never see again in a TNA ring.
In TNA, certainly maybe even on American TV.
Yeah.
We know in the past WWE had interested in her. I'm sure there was people in
used to be
AEW
loads of reports about Tessa
wanting her
to NXT and stuff.
It just seems like an odd move, and I can understand the frustrations from some of the locker room. The reports indicating that the locker room was caught off guard by the reports that she was coming back, and she was there last night. It was a very quick turnaround, but it seems to have been in the works for a while.
It's like Andrew was saying yesterday, though. I feel like you couldn't have elevated somebody within the company already.
Yes, exactly. There's such a deep
I feel
roster
like
there.
There is such a deep roster that you could have maybe done it. So maybe there are wider plans afoot and a reason why they've brought Tessa back in this manner?
I guess it's wait and see. I do understand, though, you are going to be losing someone like Jordan Grace.
Yeah.
A big name, knowing that she's going to WWE.
Someone synonymous with the brand as well.
You kind of want someone that you
She's
can
like
slot
AJ
in.
Styles in the way that it's like you think of TNA, you think of Jordan Grace.
You think
now.
of Jordan Grace
Yeah.
currently, her, Josh Alexander, Joe Hendry, and a few others. So it maybe is just to find someone to slot in that place and go, Tessa is who we're going to choose right now. Former Impact World Champion. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the next few weeks ahead of her contract expiration, Jordan Grace's expiration. But going back over to SmackDown, though, last night, we did see the return of one Braun Strowman. Again, this was reported prior to the show by Dr. Chris Featherstone of Sports Kida, but he did make his return in a match against Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, and he just ran through him.
Yeah.
Carmelo was bouncing off him like literally like a bullet ricocheting off a wall. It was
fun to
There
see.
was one point he literally bounced off him and just looked at Braun in awe. And Braun is looking to be in much better condition, obviously, after the groin tear.
Yeah.
He was, he looked comfortable, he looked fine, and jumping across in this open brand window.
Yeah, the transfer window.
Yeah, I'm into it. Let's give Braun something to do.
Yeah, I when I first heard the reports yesterday that it was set to be Braun Strowman, I was like, okay, that odd choice because he's not someone I right now feel is a top guy. However, having watched the clip of him coming back, he's just fun.
Yeah.
He's fun to have on TV.
We don't need the train sound effect anymore.
No, we don't need the train.
We can do away with that. But I think make Braun a monster. Look at him. He's huge.
He's a big boy.
Absolutely massive. Make him substantial.
And he boosts out that mid-card scene on SmackDown with your Carmelos, your Andrades, LA Knight, Shinsuke Nakamura, now Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
You've got a giant in there. That's what you needed.
Oh, new Nakamura versus Strowman.
That'd be quite fun to see.
Yeah.
That'd be quite fun. I'd quite like to see that one.
That tickles my pickle.
But staying with last night's SmackDown, it was also confirmed that we have the finals of the WWE Women's United States Championship Tournament taking place tonight at Saturday night's main event. Sam, do you want to do the honors and tell us who's in the final?
So Chelsea Green is set to take on Michin. It's basically what we thought it was going to boil down to. Michin beat Tiffany Stratton and Green defeated Bayley in order to advance, but it's Chelsea Green.
It's got to be Chelsea. It's got to be Chelsea. You know, there is reports out there. We're not going to go into them just now as to what the plans are currently for the match at tonight's show. But as a fan, Chelsea Green deserves it.
Yeah, I think
100%.
Like I love Michin, but I think like Chelsea Green in terms of character development has come on like leaps and bounds in a way that I think a lot of people weren't quite expecting, who maybe weren't familiar with her prior work. So I think she's a standout star that would do a lot with that title initially, and I think that eventually you could maybe spin this into her versus Michin long term.
Oh, hands down, yeah. She's someone that I really wanted to win Money in the Bank. I understand why Tiffany was given that, because Tiffany Stratton feels like a really up-and-coming top star.
Yeah.
But I really wanted Chelsea Green to have that moment, because everything she's been given, she has turned into gold.
Oh, she's maximised completely.
Turned into gold. Every moment of TV, she has maximised, as you said, and hopefully tonight is the night she gets some gold. And I hope it's a great run.
On the lovely white strap as well.
Absolutely. Rounding things off, though, top WWE name was Backstage at TNA last night. One that I was delighted to see and was hoping something would play out with them.
Yeah.
AJ Styles.
I mean, come on.
TNA legend.
Come on.
AJ Styles was backstage.
We've got the kind of window ajar. We're seeing TNA bleed over. We're seeing a little bit of back and forth. The old Joe Hendry situation.
You getting ready to fly?
Just give them AJ.
I think
give them AJ for like a couple of weeks. Could you imagine?
Now, if he wasn't recovering from an injury, I would have expected him to have had a match in TNA by now, part of this partnership between them, or at least an on-screen appearance. Now, he didn't appear on screen at Final Resolution last night. He was backstage hanging out with the talent before the show with no plans to actually involve him. But he was there, he was backstage, he was having a good time. And the report from Fightful Select notes that he was in good spirits and was not in a cast, brace, or walking on crutches, which is a great sign after that knee injury he suffered on SmackDown, what feels like a few months ago now.
And it was sort of a freak accident. It was just, everything was gearing up, and it was just like, God.
He'd literally just come back as well.
Yeah.
And it feels like, we had a stop-start there. But cool to see him backstage. Hopefully we'll see him back on WWE TV soon.
I'd imagine we will. If he's
Rumble?
walking around without a break, Rumble's a perfect
Rumble
shout.
return from throwback to
big,
2016.
long, lingering shot of somebody's face going.
Who is it? I mean, no one will be able to tell based
While
on
the
the
crowd's
music.
going,
It'll be the exact same thing. No music recognizing. You won't be able to recognize his music at all this time. But that is all we've got for you just now. We'll, of course, be back later on today with more wrestling news tonight, right here, youtube.com/cultaholic/live. There will be live reactions to Saturday night's main event at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. Pretty solid on that timing. It's
if
quite
it's
a late
not, it'll
night.
be on the screen, and we'll
It'll
all
be
be
on
having
the
a big
screen.
laugh right here. It'll be like midnight, not one
Not
Fraser,
one.
you idiot. But
Idiot.
as far as
Silly
Fraser's
goose.
aware, it's one.
At
And I
1
believe it is
a.m.
one. But youtube.com/cultaholic/live. The room should be open now. Go leave Adam some lovely messages.
Absolutely.
Leave him some post
We'll see you later.
Christmas wishes.